switched the coolant sensor to over here from here because it gets a better reading there. That's the heater lines, and it doesn't circulate very well, so it was getting really hot, and I got the pump to kick on at 185. Well, if the pump don't kick on, it's not going to circulate it there. They might have had that there, and I don't know, but with a mechanical pump, it's not a problem. When you're running your pump based on temperature, it is a problem. So I've moved it here. Got this wire here because I haven't got a cable. I want to get a length, but it seems like from there to there is good, but I had to rerun the fuel line because this fuel line was elbowing and coming across right here and going to that regulator, but this rod has to pass through there to throttle. I could get a cable and go through the firewall and stuff. Why not just use the stock pedal if I can? So I put an elbow here and some spare hose I had, and it goes down in loops and then comes back up and attaches right there, and I'm pretty sure that's not going to cause any issues. We'll see, I guess. It does add an elbow, but it had an elbow there anyway, so it should be okay. Alright, so this is where it loops and goes back up. So it comes, you know, from the rail and loops back up. This one goes to the front rail of the rails, and then I changed the routing and tied them together, and now they're on the right side of the frame, so if the tire blows up, it won't take the fuel line. Hopefully it won't take the fuel line with it. And then it goes into the tank, and I put a plug right there. So aside from getting a plug for right here, I'm done with the fuel lines, and I need to find a throttle cable. Alright, I got the water pump mounted. Started out real clean, and then I accidentally flipped the bolt pattern over. I had it backwards or something, and so I ended up having to auger out some of the holes, but these washers cover them, so it doesn't really matter. Center was still good. Burned up my angle drill because I didn't want to take the radiator out. That was really easy to take out, and I ended up taking it out to use the other drill because my angle drill burned up. But there it is. That's the inlet, and that's the outlet. Okay, I got the proper shims in this, and then I got this spacer for the adapter for the converter, and I got these torqued to 80 foot-pounds. So it's 75 to 85, and so I just did 80. You see, those are the spacers that FTI sent. And it allowed this to seat all the way in. These were too small in the middle. So this is done now, and I can put the transmission on. I already put it on and tested it, and it's at 3/16, so I don't have to shim the converter, and that's working out really good. Alright, this is a 3/16, and that fits just snugly. So that's right. Okay, starter has enough clearance. There's a good deal. Right there. That's got enough clearance now, so should be right where it's supposed to be. Remember, I had to make this spacer here and bring the starter out because I probably didn't buy the right starter, but that'll work now like that. Yep. I probably can't tell because you didn't see it before, but I changed the angle of that hand-hard bar. I dropped it at least 4 inches, and so it used to like be really bad, and it would just pull that rear end something crazy when I dropped it. Every time I jacked the tires off the ground, it scooted the car over because the rear end would go like this, and then when the car would sit down, the whole car would shift over. So that's closer to level, and I don't think it'll be near as bad now. I decided to put this crossbar in here, and maybe eventually an X, but I don't have the material for it, so I'm just gonna put this one in for now, and I'm getting close. Still have to tune that in. But the idea is that this will keep these two frame rails that the shocks are attached to from twisting up and down, like torque twisting. These two frame rails here, I don't want them to go like this. So I was thinking that having that would help with that. Now that's in. Probably would look better as an X, but I don't have the material. The door bar is going to have to be about right there. That's as low as it can go. It's like right above my elbow, which I figure might as well go as low as it can possibly go, since they're so broad on it, between your shoulder and your elbow. Well, I'd rather have it closer to my elbow then, if that's the case. This is where the door handle mounts. I'm not going to be able to have a door handle. I could probably weld these in and then later cut them out and put the Rhodes thing in, but I don't think that's going to be that hard to get in and out of, when my other car isn't that hard to get in and out of. It's not welded. I'm afraid I'm gonna knock it over. So that ain't bad. But I'm gonna need like blocks or something and get this to the floor. But I really can't get the, without twisting my hip, I can't get the brakes to the floor. I might need to get something at least for the brakes. Like this I can get to the floor. Maybe I'll be alright. I gotta twist my hip quite a bit. I'm about an inch from the floor and on my tippy toes. Pretty easy to get in and out of. Just got to have a plan, strategy. Alright, so exhaust path. I'm going to put the camera right in front of where it's going to mount. Right there. So shoot straight back, stay as high as possible. Maybe come all the way up to there and then shoot down and then either go out the bottom or go out the side. So it'd be like that. My elbow on it. Like that. It's several inches away from the tire still. I think that'll work. Start to something that might work. Doesn't seem like a whole lot of room. Still have to flex the suspension, but I'll bet you it doesn't have that much. 4 inches there. I don't think there's 4 inches in the suspension. That might work. You know, I was kind of wanting twin exhaust, but these are the pieces I had. I tacked them in. Kind of like this set up better. I used 2 of the U-shaped ones and an elbow. That one, I think it looks better than that one. Okay, that's the final product on this side, I believe. This side I might redo. I got pipe on the way because I cut that and I shouldn't have cut it when I was doing something else. And I didn't think of this yet, but it's just one more clamp. I could actually keep it this way and it wouldn't hurt nothing except for the way it looks. Turn the wheel. Okay, wheels turned. This one has a bit more room on this side. Really actually kind of happy with it, but if I ever decide to put a wall here, this clamp would get in the way, so I don't know, I might redo it so I could put a wall here and come around this and seal this off. It turns out I was overcomplicating the crap out of it. I just kicked it over a little bit right here. There's a gap almost, and made it shoot that way a little bit. Yeah, that's gonna be a lot better. I don't know what I was thinking. That's gonna work. Sometimes it's just so simple and I overcomplicate it and overthink it and screw it up and spend a bunch of money on a bunch of pipe that I don't need to use. That's gonna go real nice right down where I want it to go. It isn't gonna be in the way of the tire at all. I can't believe I just can't believe how dumb I am sometimes. That looks good. Yeah. I like it. You know, now that I have these supports here, they're adjustable so that I can make the body line up. Right there and there. I could probably get away with cutting this out. Cut it right here, and right here, and right here. Unbolt this, because this is held in by this stuff. I wouldn't be able to latch the hood, but I could probably put hood pins in. Have to figure out where to put them, because that would be right at the edge. So, but this could come out because it's really not supporting anything. I have to figure out how I would pin the hood down though. Might have to put corner pieces, weld a corner piece in right here or something. Finally did it. I finally broke down and ripped it out. And it looks a lot better as far as room goes. I think I'm gonna make a bar, pinch it and bolt it here, run it like this, and then come over here and somehow pinch it and bolt it there. We got metal in here that I need to figure out what I'm gonna, maybe I'll bolt it here, I don't know, and bolt it here. But man, that really opens it up. Looks 100% better. And I gotta fix that eventually, because I cut around that because I don't have any forethought. That bar, that has to go too. It's taking up prime real estate. I need to cut it right here on the inside of this. This is the new bumper support. Cut it right there along this frame. Cut that whole thing out. Maybe run a tube down and over and up to support the radiator and the intercooler, because they're going to have to go down as low as at least as low as that radiator is, which is a couple inches. And that's where the radiator needs to be, but the intercooler could even go lower if I wanted it to. But in order to do that, that's got to come out, and I didn't want to do it. I really didn't want to do it. You know, it's just amazing how fast this stuff cuts out. All clear. I do got to clean that up though, and that. I might not have to worry about patching that bumper, because it might be getting cut out right across there. Plenty of room for an intercooler. Plenty. Alright, so that's as low as the radiator can go, and it probably needs to go that low so that the tubing from the intercooler can come up around. If I can raise it up a little, I will, but I don't need to, because when it's that low, it's still not lower than the, well, it's a little bit lower than the bumper. Now the intercooler is going to have to go low enough where the tubes can go under this way, and then I'm going to have to clock this to go on the other side, and I might have to cut this out, and then I'm really hoping that the headlight will fit, because if it won't, that would really suck. But it would be nice to be able to clock this right down here straight, and then I'd be able to run it straight down here and then underneath this, and then the intercooler could drop down in there or raise up from the bottom anyways, because the tubing's going to want to stick out underneath of the frame rails. So that's the plan anyway. And the intercooler is going to be like 23 or 24 inches tall and 27 inches wide, and wide, and then 5 inches thick. Ought to do it. And there seems like there's plenty of room for a fan like that. All right, then some more cutting. Cut away by the headlights. Now, there's barely any room back here, but there's enough to get a clamp on there, I think. And hopefully I can 45 off of that, or 90, and come straight down and under this frame, and that one straight down and then under the frame, and then run a tube right here, and then that'll be where the bottom of the intercooler would be. So I'll find a 3-inch tube that's, 36 inches long or something, and put it there up against this frame, and then I'll be able to plumb it in, and the tube will shoot across the bottom, and then I can just mark it where the intercooler can box up and come up this way. So I'll draw a line on the tube right there and over there, just to represent where the wall would be of the intercooler.